Welcome back. Now, this is a story that we're getting you from the political epicenter of Tamil Nadu that shifted 100 kilometers from Chennai. It is the Golden Bay Resort, which has now been surrounded by cops team. You also have Tamil Nadu commandos dressed up in riot gear who are present on the ground after an FIR has been registered against Sasikala and Sami after SS Sarvanan was able to escape from the resort, claiming that he was kept against his will there. Police team led by SP Kanchipuram is inside the resort. AIADMK MLA had accused both the leaders of abduction and forcibly keeping him hostage at the resort. It was a dramatic escape he had. He claimed to be scaling up the wall of the resort, dressed up in Bermuda shorts in a disguise, and that's where he made a statement in front of the media that how many MLAs are kept against their will. Right now, Sasikala's kin also inside the resort. You have Divakaran, who are right now there inside the resort, even as cops have surrounded the place. It's interesting. Let me go across to Akshayanath, because Golden Bay Resort, Akshayanath, has been called the paradise on earth by the resort owner, but it seems to be nothing short of an ideal location for Sasikala and her team, because it's surrounded by backwaters. From three sides, there's only one entry and exit point, which is being controlled. We've hardly seen MLAs come out and interact with the media. What's happened since morning, Akshay, if you can tell us, and how many cops have now surrounded the place, including the commandos that have been deployed?
Well, Davina, the golden paradise is also a golden cage. If my camera person can start panning around, I can show you that there's a large number of police officials who have come here. Initially today morning, it was just 10 or 15 police officials, like the regular bandobast that you have for the MLAs. But then in the last half an hour or so, we're seeing that more than 3,000 odd policemen, both from the Tamil Nadu Commando Force, the Riot Force, have all started coming into the Golden Bay Resort. We've been told that the Kanchipuram SP who had come here started an investigation with a team of 50 policemen, and then this has developed into the commando force and the riot police being called in, and we're being told that these MLAs have been given a time frame of 3 p.m. It's already 3 p.m. They were asked to move out of the resort by 3 p.m. They were requested rather to move out because it's seen that for the last 8 days this place has become the second hub of the AIADMK MLA leaders, and right now because Edapadi Palanisamy has already sent out a request to the governor saying that he has a number in his hand and the government has to be formed under his leadership. These MLAs are saying that till the governor gives a nod, they're not going to move out of the place. But at the same time, we've also seen that MLA Saravanan has, who escaped from this resort, has filed a complaint, has filed an FIR stating that he was kidnapped and also criminally intimidated. And that is one of the reasons why the investigation is going on at the Golden Bay Resort right now. And based on that complaint, we're being told that the police officials are trying to nab these anti-social elements who have been sitting inside the resort and who've been intimidating the MLAs. And if there are any personnel like that these people can identify, they will be taken into custody and detained here, Divina.
All right, the assessment from the cars that we can see outside the Golden Bay Resort right now, it seems there are over 119 MLAs inside, because there are cars parked outside the Golden Bay Resort. These MLAs have been camping here for the past 7 days and more. And it's just the Sasikala top team that has gone in and out. Yesterday, there was also an attempt from the OPS team to enter the resort. They were stopped at least 30 kilometers before the resort. There was also a complaint that's been filed from SS Sarvanan that there are many who've been forcibly kept inside, and this is where the number game could swing in favor of OPS camp, which needs support, and how he just has about 10 MLAs with him, but there's a continuous movement of cops inside and outside the resort. Also, Akshay, what are we getting to know from the sources? Is OPS also likely to make another attempt to meet these MLAs today?
Well, Davina, we are being told that O. Paneerselvam wanted to come to the Golden Bay Resort. He sent.
Okay, we'll try and connect with Akshanath in just a bit, but significant activity outside the Golden Bay Resort. The resort politics drama that we can see unfold on the screens as well. Lal Batti Gadis that you see on your screen are of these MLAs. Now we're looking at an MLA coming out as well, but it has been a very restricted movement. Only the statements coming out from the MLAs who've been allowed to interact with the media has been, we're very happy here, we're not being held against our will, but that is contradictory to what SS Sarvanan, who managed to escape from this resort said earlier. He's lodged an FIR as well, and this is the second time that you have the Kanchipuram cops investigating the Golden Bay Resort and the complaints of forcible confinement of the MLAs there. Let me go across to T.S. Sudhir, who's a senior journalist, also joining us. He's joining us from outside OPS residence. Now, Sudhir, we've been talking about how there is no free lunch, and it's a lunch which could change the matrix of Tamil Nadu politics, as OPS is meeting MPs and the MLAs that are in his camp. He's in dire need of support of those 120 plus, what we given to understand, who are at Golden Bay Resort. What seems to be his next strategy to lure them?
Well, the politically very dynamic developments that we have seen in Tamil Nadu for over a week now don't seem to end. Now, what we are picking up from our sources is that, one, the realization has definitely dawned that Paneerselvam's numbers are not growing. Palaniswamy definitely has better arithmetic than him. So what's really the way out? What I'm picking up from my sources is that there are some neutral MLAs, some of them actually belonging to Chennai city, who have actually tried to bring about some kind of a rapprochement between the two sides, between the Palaniswamy and the Paneerselvam camps. Also significant is that now with Sasikala out of the picture, the main person who was being opposed by the Paneerselvam camp is out of the picture. She will be in jail for the next 4 years. So there is some kind of a room for some kind of a compromise formula being worked out, and I am told that that is being worked out behind the scenes. Perhaps that's one reason most of the camp followers of Paneerselvam actually left for lunch. So obviously there is something cooking, is what the way I see it. Also, what I'm picking up from my sources is that it could well be someone else apart from Paneerselvam and Palaniswamy who could actually be worked out. So all this is still in the realm of speculation. This is what I'm picking up from my sources, both in different factions, both factions of the AIADMK, also from senior members of the bureaucracy who have some kind of a sense of what is really happening on the ground. So we could well have a very different kind of a scenario by evening, or perhaps sometime tomorrow morning. But as far as Raj Bhavan is concerned, what I'm picking up is that my sources tell me that the governor is more inclined to invite Palaniswamy for the swearing in because he believes he has the numbers which Paneerselvam is not able to demonstrate. But the major concern is there are some cases against Palaniswamy, including the latest one where cases have been booked for kidnapping against both him and Sasikala. So the governor also looking at the legal aspects because he doesn't want to get dragged into any kind of a legal controversy. So that may take some time, but definitely things moving on, but not in front of the cameras, a lot happening behind the scenes.
All right, but what are you getting about the cop siege that we see right now at the Golden Bay Resort? Sudhir, it's the second time now that Tamil Nadu police is questioning the MLAs. First time round, they submitted a report to the court saying that all is well, nobody is held against their will. Then you had SS Sarvanan making the dramatic escape, alleging a pressure and alleging Gundaism at the resort. Now you have the cops laying siege ahead of Tamil Nadu governor's decision. Could we see a scenario in OPS's favor if there are more statements coming from the MLAs about a forceful confinement?
Well, obviously the Paneerselvam camp is also simultaneously making some efforts to get those MLAs out. A majority of them, at least on record, have said that they will not come out till the governor invites Palaniswamy to come and form the government. So that stalemate definitely continues, but also there is a realization within the Paneerselvam camp that if they are able to actually break into that MLA's camp at that resort, they may be able to at least get a few numbers, because they also feel a little embarrassed about the fact that for all the last 8 days, they have only 12 odd MLAs to show. So in that sense, the Paneerselvam camp hasn't picked up momentum, and that is a realization they understand. So simultaneously, while back channel talks are going on with some members of the Paneerselvam camp, not necessarily with Paneerselvam himself, there is also an attempt being made to ensure that you break into the resort through the police and get those MLAs out, because they realize that many of those MLAs may be kept under duress, and it is for the police, it's part of the police duty to ensure that they are brought out safely.
All right. Constitutional experts at this point of time, Sudhir, are saying that governor doesn't have much time. It's incumbent on him now to make and take the decision at the earliest after Sasikala's conviction. She's on her way to Bengaluru. But right now, as the fight plays out between Palaniswamy and Paneerselvam camp, what are the various options before the governor? Are we looking at what happened in 1998 in Uttar Pradesh, a composite floor test, or are we looking at the governor considering majority, which at least Paneerselvam camp claims to be having?
Well, the idea of a composite floor test, the option of that has been suggested to the governor. What I'm told by my sources in Raj Bhavan is that the governor may not be very positively inclined because he believes that the same Uttar Pradesh precedent does not quite work here in Tamil Nadu, because in Uttar Pradesh both Kalyan Singh and Jagdambika Pal had claimed that both of them had numbers in their favor. In this case, it's only Palanisammy who's claiming a majority, while Paneerselvam is actually not putting any numbers on the table. So that comparison doesn't quite work. The other option, obviously, for him is that now that he has Palanisamy's letters taking claim, he needs to invite him to form the government and ask him to prove his majority on the floor of the House within possibly the next 24 to 48 hours. Give him as short a time as possible, and also ensure that all those MLAs are brought out of this resort and come to the assembly, come to Chennai. So those are really the two options that he has. Inviting Paneerselvam doesn't remain quite an option because he just doesn't have the numbers to show for him. They only are going on saying that if the MLAs are brought out safely, many of them will join Paneerselvam. But again, no numbers being given, and that's really not the way the Raj Bhavan believes. That's really not the way to stake claim.
All right, Sudhir, be with us, because even as we're waiting and watching about how the number games would play out, there is a cop siege outside the Golden Bay Resort where 120 plus MLAs right now are inside the Golden Bay Resort, held by the Paneerselvam/Sasikala camp. Now, the Apex Court has though put an end to Sasikala's political career even before it took off. Her knack for politics was on full display though today for the cameras as well. Before undertaking the inevitable journey to the Bengaluru court, there was an attempt though to delay her surrender, and the Apex Court was in a simple statement saying sorry, cannot be delayed. AIADMK's General Secretary made it a point to visit Jaya's memorial at Marina Beach. Sasikala first offered floral tributes to Jaya before paying her respects with folded hands. What was striking in her visit to Marina Beach was the oath she took in the presence of her late mentor by thumping her gravestone repeatedly 3 times. Flanked by her supporters, Sasikala swore to take revenge for the treachery and scheming that she had to face. A confident and determined Sasikala promised that Jaya's soul that she would destroy her enemies. So for Sasikala, it's from Poets Garden to prison now. Although her lawyer KTS Tulsi did make an appeal before the Supreme Court bench to delay the surrender, saying that she has many affairs to be tied up first and then only she can make a surrender. But the court has said, sorry, we've already given a fatty judgment, and that's the word that they use, that we cannot even change a word of it. So on National Highway 48, it's 350 kilometer for Sasikala. That will be ending up at the trial court. Sasikala made a dramatic departure from Poets Garden. 6-hour journey for Sasikala, which also ends her political career. At around 11:40 in the afternoon, VK Sasikala left her Poets Garden residence, and she has been residing since Jaya's demise. At sharp 12 p.m, she reached Jaya Memorial at Marina Beach, where she paid floral tribute, following which she headed to MGR's memorial, where she meditated for a while before finally heading to Bengaluru. She will be serving the rest of her 4-year term, which is left in the DA case. At around 2:30 p.m, Chinnamma's convoy crossed through Kanchipuram. Remember, India Today has been closely tracking Sasikala's journey from Poise to prison. My colleague Shalini getting us this report.
As we can see right now, there are thousands of people over here, AIADMK cadres, who want to take a glimpse of Ms. Sasikala. She is just like nodding to everybody, and she's leading over there. The path is being cleared, and there she goes. There she goes, as you can see over there. She is going, like, you can see her face right now. She's just, we could see that her eyes are a bit teary as well. She is congratulating her cadres, and she is on her way. Apparently, the last decision she has taken before leaving for Bengaluru is to make her nephew TTV Divakaran as the Deputy General Secretary of the party. And I also have to mention here, as mentioned here, is that this is her decision, not just Mr. TTV Divakaran, along with him, Dr. Venkatesh, another relative of hers has also been reinstated to the party. With camera person Shiv Prashant, Pramod Madhav in Chennai for India Today.
This is the convoy of AIADMK leader, General Secretary VK Sasikala Natarajan passing by en route from Chennai to Bangalore. You can see AIADMK party workers, slogans here, right here is the car. Sitting in front, VK Sasikala holding her hands in a namaskar. The entire group of AIADMK people, police, an ambulance, everyone following by. Now she's going to surrender at the Karnataka court. The court has asked her to surrender. Today we'll see her go there, surrender. She's made a list for a special cell as well and offered it. Now the demands, whether they're going to be accepted or not, is unknown. But we're going to follow her and we're going to see what happens. With camera person Dinesh Lal, this is Shalini Lobo in Chennai for India Today.
Sasikala en route Bengaluru, where she's expected to surrender. Registrar of the Karnataka High Court by notification has ordered shifting of court to Central Prison, vacant court, following which court hall number 43 will now sit at the vacant court hall right opposite the Central Prison to prevent Sasikala from driving into the city and going back to the prison. Meanwhile, the Bengaluru police have made elaborate security arrangements around the Bengaluru Central Jail Prison in Parapanna Agrahara, where Sasikala will be serving her term. However, India Today has learned that Sasikala will have a separate cell with a cot and television. She's also requested to have a helper by her side. She's also requested not to be tied with handcuffs. She's also said that she would like to have home food and mineral water and hot water, citing medical reason. The prison, which is located on 40 acres of land, is operational since 1997, has capacity of over 2,000 inmates and will now have Sasikala residing there for 3 years plus. Now, my colleague Rohini is joining us from outside. Revati is joining us from outside the Bengaluru jail. Pardon me. So, Revati, you had seen also how Jayalalitha made her way to prison when she was convicted. How is it different from Sasikala? Are we seeing en masse support of AIADMK cadres there, or is it just few who have gathered to meet Sasikala and to catch a glimpse of her?
Well, Devina, exactly in 2014, when former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha was convicted, this is the jail where she was lodged to, along with the co-accused, including Sasikala. But in comparison, the number of people who are gathered outside the jail is very, very less. Let me show you around. Right beside me, you can see the number of policemen who are deployed here, but the number of party cadres or the AIADMK members who are present here is almost zero. There is nobody in sight outside the jail here, but heavy security deployment arrangement that is being made. Barricades more than 500 meters away from the entrance of the jail that is being arranged here. And the police officials have clearly told us that there will be no special privileges. Just one convoy would be allowed to come inside along with Sasikala. Now, once she comes to the courts and surrenders, the first and foremost thing that she is supposed to do, according to the Supreme Court, she will perhaps ask for some more time, citing health reasons. There's also a doubt whether there will be a request for transferring her to the Tamil Nadu prison as well, which the legal possibilities of which will also be looked into, Devina. So these two things is what we're looking at the moment outside the Parapanna Agrahara jail in Bengaluru.
When are we expecting Sasikala's convoy to reach the Bengaluru Central Prison, Revati?
Well, as per our colleagues who are following Sasikala's convoy, we know that she will be here around 5:30 to 6. Around that time, about 200 kilometers away still. And because this jail is situated outside the city and close to the border of Tamil Nadu, not much time is expected to be consumed in traffic, which is why it was shifted to this prison. So we are expecting here around 5:30, 6 p.m. Divina.
All right, be with us, Revati, because here is a stark difference that we can show our viewers. When Jaya's conviction had taken place in 2014 to Bengaluru Central Prison, there were hordes of supporters, posters, and people who were crying for their Amma going to Central Prison. But Chinnamma, although wielding clout in Tamil Nadu, where we'd seen a show of strength outside Post Garden as well, not having AIADMK cadres on the ground. Getting some more breaking news. BJP MP Subramaniam Swamy now stirring the hornet's nest once again, tweeting, "I called the Home Minister and urged him to warn the Tamil Nadu DGP on the outrageous eviction of Panayasamy's MLAs." And that's what Subramaniam Swamy has tweeted. Let me go across to Brijesh Pandey joining us on the story. So, Brijesh, interestingly, once again, Subramaniam Swamy muddling the Tamil Nadu political chaos.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, he has been stirring the pot for a while now, much to the embarrassment of the BJP as well, by openly saying that, two ministers from of Narendra Modi government, it is who they are, acting, though in their own personal capacity and trying to muddy the water. And, his latest tweet, which he has tweeted, will definitely, drag the party into an unseemly controversy. Because if you remember, all the senior party leaders as well as ministers, they have been trying to stay clear of this controversy, which is this political slugfest which is going on between Sasikala and Paneerselvam camp, and they have maintained always that that the BJP and the centre has nothing to do with the kind of political developments which are taking place. But it is Subramaniam Swamy, who is a BJP Rajya Sabha member of Parliament, who has been picking up sides and has been pretty vocal in his denunciation of the role played by the government. So his latest tweet will definitely add further to the discomfiture of the party as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. Devina?
Absolutely, Brijesh. Thanks for joining us. So Subramaniam Swamy saying, "I called the Home Minister and also ensured that and asked him and urged him to warn the Tamil Nadu DGP on the outrageous eviction of Palayasamy's MLAs." And we've been giving you the live visuals of how there's been a siege outside the Golden Bay Resort by the cops. The second time that they're questioning the MLAs there. Parayasamy faction claims that they have support of all the MLAs who are inside the resort, claiming that they are not forcefully confined. Going across to T.S. Sudhir, senior journalist who also continues to be with us at this point of time. Sudhir, how do you read Swamy's tweet, who has said that he has called the Home Minister, warned him that the Tamil Nadu DGP should not indulge in outrageous eviction, given the fact that still the acting Chief Minister is Paneerselvam, and the cops would be acting at behest of the acting Chief Minister?
Well, yes, I mean, that's really the dilemma that many people, especially in the bureaucracy, face. Whose orders do they carry out? Because on one hand, you have a caretaker chief minister whose resignation has been accepted. So in that sense, he really does not have complete control over the IAS and the IPS lobby in Tamil Nadu. So whether they should actually take his orders. On the other hand, especially when there is other cabinet colleagues like Edapadi Palaniswamy who are actually mounting a challenge to Paneerselvam, or on the other side of the camp. So obviously, if Paneerselvam is going to order his corps to take action against the other camp for political gains, that's going to be an ethical dilemma for the bureaucracy and the police force especially to carry out. So those are some of the questions, and Swamy's tweet essentially focuses on that whether the DGP can follow the orders of a caretaker chief minister without an okay from the DGP to undertake something like this. But also I may point out that the governor in this case last week itself had indicated that he would tell the DGP to actually clear out the resort. That never happened, though the police had gone inside and subsequently submitted a report to the High Court as well. So the DGP is also completely in the loop as far as what action is being taken by the Tamil Nadu police.
But the report that the Kanchipuram cops have submitted was before the FIR by SS Sarvanan, who claimed that he scaled up a wall and a dramatic escape that he had from the confinement from Sasikala camp, because he alleged that there is a muscle flexing inside the Golden Bay Resort. So we'll have to wait and watch how that entire drama plays out. 3 p.m. was the deadline given for these MLAs to leave the resort. We'll have to wait and watch how the entire political chaos unfolds. Also getting another reaction from Kamal Hassan, who's been very vocal about his support to Paneerselvam. He's now taken a dig at the government on his Twitter profile, and he has said, and I quote Mahatma Gandhi, he's quoted Mahatma Gandhi saying that corruption and hypocrisy ought not to be inevitable products of democracy, as they undoubtedly are today. He's also taken a dig, quoting former US President Theodore Roosevelt, saying when they call the roll in the Senate, the senators do not know whether to answer present or not guilty. A telling tweet there for the people of Tamil Nadu who have voted AIADMK in power for 5 years, and what they're witnessing right now is split right in the middle of the party, split in the loyalty, split in the MLAs, and governance hanging by fire. Taking a short break, coming right back.